has other options out there. So take it all with a grain of salt for now. Nonetheless, he played a great game. Glad to see he's hopefully back in proper form there. The rest of the team, I love Ginny coming in. There was a couple touches that just reminds you how great he is, composed, opening up, finding space.
Have we talked about Fabinho and Thiago yet?
Maybe a little bit that we thought that's our ideal lineup.
But I mean, like during that Arsenal game is my point.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it was never
how little are you paying attention right now?
Well,
we're only 5 minutes in.
I just had to watch the end of that West Ham game. But no, but I think this is my point. No one's bringing up how good Fabinho and Thiago were. I think largely because it was a 3-0 victory. But the whole nil part of that was largely because of their play that they were doing. Thiago was passing amazingly. I think Fabinho was the man of the match.
Jota was the Premier League website man of the match, and I believe what other man of the match things are there.
I think Fabinho got at least one of them.
Maybe.
And I think he deserved it because, I mean, and not to take anything away from Kabak and Phillips, which we just talked about, but they, I think the two of them have just been so strong defensively, and I think that game was another indication of it.
No, and I think they're complementing each other so well because now that they've got some confidence in defensive central midfield and the center backs, Thiago can play up. And the second goal, Salah's goal, came off of a great ball from Thiago. Trent had a little one-touch over to Thiago. He chipped it in over Gabriel, the defender, and him and Salah are off to the races. And like you said, he muscled him off and then nutmegged Leno and had it in there. And that was no small feat. Gabriel is a big boy, and Salah's small, but he is strong, and he really earned that goal there for sure. So both of those guys, I've got plenty of time cheering for Fabinho and Thiago, and I think we'll see the best of Thiago with Fabinho pushing him forward there.
And just JP, we've got eight more Premier League games.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8 left. 8 left in the Premier League for you to lose your bet. Just all I'm saying.
You mean you're doubting now March's Standard Charter Player of the Month, Nat Phillips? I literally just typed that in, guys. I forgot to prep you on this one. I thought of that. Let's talk about him quickly there. Sure. He was voted Liverpool Player of the Month.
Hey, listen.
And you're doubting him, John?
Yeah,
you're doubting he's going to get a goal?
Don't look now, but three straight clean sheets for Phillips and Kabak. Now, I'm going to devil's advocate myself right here, but how much of that is Fabinho being back in midfield?
So are you saying Van Dijk and Gomez are so great because of Fabinho?
I'm not discounting it. The numbers are there.
I think the test will be tomorrow. How do they handle Benzema? Because that is going to be
They handle Benzema by just doing a little reverse Ramos and just Phillips give him a little arm.
I don't know. If we're transitioning to Champions League now, I will say that I'm a little less worried about Benzema because he's also like 100 years old at this point. I think you're thinking about 2014 Benzema.
He's been a scoring machine right now for
because who else is going to score?
Doesn't matter.
Ronaldo,
he's scoring though. Somebody's got to score, and he's the one scoring.
Modric hasn't been scoring. Real Madrid or
I'd be more there. I would criticize their center midfield more than Benzema up front because I've lost. I don't say I've lost faith, but Modric's best days are definitely behind him.
Absolutely.
And for whatever reason, Benzema found the fountain of youth, and he's been doing amazing.
But I think you're absolutely right though, JP. I think a big test will be tomorrow because. Leipzig is one thing, but Real Madrid's another thing as well. Yeah. So,
but it does say something that Klopp chose to bring on Papa Rocha's number one fan, Reece Williams, in order to give Kabak, just turned 20, a bit of time to rest his legs so that he's ready for
the Champions League
for Madrid. Like that's something, and it's kind of like something that we've talked about it before on this team. Is like Kabak didn't like we got him on a loan, and it was sort of felt last minute and all that sort of stuff. We were linked with him beforehand
last summer.
It feels like this is a player that we have actually like looking towards progression in terms of how we do things sort of normally with Liverpool, and then you add that with a player like a Phillips who Standard Charter Player of the Month, absolutely, and like. Don't get me wrong. I like myself a folk hero in a Liverpool squad. We have beautiful moments out of like folk heroes.
And he's going to score one for you.
Well, listen,
don't worry.
I will bring you the case of whatever 12-pack case.
Propeller Brew is right around the corner, man.
If and when it happens, but I think I'm still predicting that we're going to see more clean sheets out of him than we'll see goals any day.
just a quick counter to one of the things you said just in passing there. When they brought in Reece Williams for Kabak, and you said basically, I wasn't sure what you're alluding to, that you're resting Kabak, meaning thinking he's more important for the Real Madrid game, or was there a certain reason there? Because I'll just answer my own question basically. I think it was more about getting Phillips and Williams some more time together, because I think Phillips has become the anchor for that center back there, and I think Klopp has more faith in him than Kabak, and in case Kabak needs to come out in the against Real Madrid or another game, now at least Williams and Phillips have a few more minutes together, and I think he's a little more confident in that maybe.
I read that as Kabak played a similar international break to Andrew Robertson, and it was he was pulled off for similar reasons.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, Kabak had himself a pretty good pretty good international
Turkey's
break
been
as
doing very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we won't touch base too much more on the Champions League game because by the time this is posted, or uploaded, and you guys are all listening to it, the game will be over, and it'll be a 4-0 victory for Liverpool, as Ben has so aptly predicted.
Yeah, listen, I'll go to my tangent now, just so we can get it done and over with. Real Madrid should be a victory. I don't think it's going to be easy, but Real Madrid are not the Real Madrid of a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So, given
no Ramos,
right, and no Ramos, who is arguably, maybe with Benzema, but been their best player. Like, they're third in La Liga right now. They're not playing their best. They had a tough time in the Champions League group stage, if you recall. They were almost in the Europa League. This should be a decent victory, but you just don't know with Real Madrid. Zidane, an amazing coach. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm just saying. We should be getting through the semifinals.
They are still Madrid in Europe.
Yeah, This goes back to last week. The pedigree doesn't count for all that much. It is something as Liverpool fans we really cling on to. Yeah, but I don't think it really means anything.
I think it does when you have the same coach and a lot of the same players.
When you lose fans, though, I think that's another big aspect.
Absolutely. So
we've
lost the fans too, though.
And that's my point. I'm gonna bring this up again because I think we were kind of roasting you last week for this, but how you're saying City are not favorites because City have never won the Champions League before. Fact of the matter is, that history doesn't really matter in games in the moment, which is why I don't think...
The game still has to be played.
Exactly. And then, Real Madrid, I still think they're a decent side. I just don't think the fact their past victories in Europe and their past triumphs will really matter.
I really think the game is going to hinge on our front three. Because if Jota's up there and still popping the goals and Salah and Mane are running with them, then that's it. They'll win it. Liverpool have it. But if something doesn't click properly, I think we're in tough.
I say rest center front four. I think we play the four up front and we blow them away.
I think that. So the first leg is away. I think Jota needs to start because nobody else seems to want to score other than Jota. Jota shows up, and other people start scoring. Get him on. He needs to be on there for the full 90 minutes. Get as many away goals as we can.
All right. So
then when you go back to Anfield, where we don't do a great job at winning,
let's just do this right now. Pick your starting 11. I know the game's already ended as people are listening to this, but we keep on dancing around it. Let's all pick our starting 11.
Okay.
The back four picks itself.
Yeah. So say back four. I would put.
I think the front three picks itself.
Well, see what I would do. Back four the same. Thiago and Fabinho to start. Salah, Firmino, Mane, and then Jota.
Yeah, and I'm doing the same. And where you play Firmino and where you play Jota,
Now the only thing that I'm a little iffy about is do you start Ronaldo and sub on Thiago or vice versa? But I think Fabinho has to start midfield.
I think you stick with the 4-3-3. It ain't broke, don't fix it. You're doing well now. They're back They're back on form. I would say go with your Wijnaldum and Thiago ahead of Fabinho, because if you play the 4-2-3-1, that means Thiago's got to sit back deeper. And not to say he can't make his runs up, but then you're exposing a bit unless you're going to play a 4-1-1-3-1 or something. Anyway,
just play a linear.
I think Thiago has really found a niche now, a nice little niche with playing ahead of Fabinho. And Wijnaldum is Wijnaldum. I freaking love the guy. Yeah. And then have Jota in for Firmino, unfortunately, for Bobby. Yeah.
Maybe start Genie so he can get his hatred of Real Madrid going early, which will serve him well for Barcelona. Yeah.
So in a world, Ben, 'cause I'll just address this to you because we have basically the same starting lineup. In a world where we have that starting lineup, who's wearing the armband?
That's a good one.
You guys don't have none of our 4 in there.
Well, problem. Okay, we're running a bit of a risk here because if we don't give it to Salah, he might just at halftime switch shirts.
That's so bad.
But no, yeah, that's good. That's a good question. I didn't even thought about that. I honestly don't know.
I might give it
Fabinho.
to
Yeah, I think Fabinho makes sense to me.
Or maybe Captain Phillips, man. There you go.
Come on. I'm sorry. Like
I am the captain now.
We all love Phillips. We absolutely all love Phillips. But if you're going to give it to anyone,
I think Salah would switch shirts, and he would be right to do so.
I think
as an honest answer, Salah would be maybe up there, but
Trent,
maybe Robbo.
I would say Trent
over Robbo.
It would be between Trent and Robbo for me, and I would kind of give it to Trent just for like.
I would maybe give it to Fabinho over Robbo.
I think maybe Fabinho as well, man.
Fabinho or Trent would be kind of my obvious ones. Then give it to Salah just so he doesn't. Yeah, as
I'm an old school footballer, and I like the center midfielder always being.
It's always weird when attackers
captain,
when attackers have the armband. It's kind of weird.
Oh, it was so strange.
I think center midfielders are goalkeepers. Not trying to be biased, but
I
think those are 2 people
Alisson?
that really control the team.
Yeah. What about Alisson?
I feel like Alisson's pretty. I don't know if he's that big of a presence. I think he's like a leader, but he's
the
not
mustache
like
alone
Hendo.
Is a big
Hey,
presence.
well, we're gonna get to that. Don't you worry.
But I think it to me kind of feels like here's an opportunity to put the armband on your local lad in a Champions League match against Real Madrid. I think he put it on Trent.
He had the armband for Michelin. So So he's been the captain on a European night, but.
Nonetheless, we'll see what the lineup is tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is the lineup I want. I feel like JP is going to be correct in his lineup.
And like honestly, we could see a situation where James Milner starts up front. Like it's Klopp does weird things, and like recently it feels like he does them right. So.
He doesn't do weird things though. He keeps things very, very consistent.
I thought it was strange that he started James Milner in that match. Now, it made sense based on what he ended up doing.
He got like 72 hours.
I think that was completely plat.
And you have 72 hours between that and Champions League games, so you got to manage, as you say.
Yeah. Guys, there's a whole bunch of other games going on, too. Outside of games that haven't happened yet that we just spent the last 10 minutes on. Let's recap the rest of the Premier League quickly because there were some entertaining results. The City-Leicester game, not so much. That seemed like business as usual with a 2-0 victory for City. United squeaked out a win in the dying minutes against Brighton, but they did seem to control most of that game there. As we just said earlier, West Ham did finally defeat Wolves 3-2 in the end, and Everton Palace played it today as well, and they drew 1-1. Both of those games could have been a big help to Liverpool's top 4 chances, but I think the 2 games you guys want to really go at here are Spurs Newcastle and Chelsea West Brom Albion. John, what game do you want to touch base on the most there?
Well, it's funny because we were talking about whether or not I felt that like. At what moments did I feel during the Liverpool match that it could just be another situation where it's 0-0 or we keep it level until like the 80th minute and Arsenal pops one in outside of the balance of play and it ends up that way. The moment that I did feel that way was when I saw Chelsea going down. It was like Germany versus North Macedonia. That level of
that was tough.
That level of situation and featuring a lot of the same players on the losing side. But that was the moment of just like, this could be really good if we're able to capitalize on things. Didn't watch a lot of the game, but that scoreline says a lot about what could happen under Thomas Tuchel has absolutely done very, very well since he's come in as Chelsea boss, and I think he's going to have insofar as Chelsea managers go, long successful career with Chelsea.
So like 2 years?
Yeah, I was going to say 2.5 at most, but
if he gets 3, then he's in legendary status.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, the big tell is as to whether or not he gets to come back for a second bite of the apple. But regardless, I think this does sort of cast interesting light on what might happen in Europe. A lot of noise has been made about Chelsea getting the easy draw in Europe. I think that this is